Hi, it's Mel Red Song. We're with part two of the Isaiah Jackson. This is Isaiah Jackson and his immaculately conceived daughter Melanie Speer. This is Isaiah the prophet, reborn as Isaiah Jackson. This is St. Patrick, the patron saint of the poor, reborn as Melanie Speer. Also, she was the founder of America, Christopher Columbus. Let me say, Will Smith for president 2020. He was Adam and Eve's third son, Seth. And Melanie was Adam and Eve's firstborn girl child. She was the first girl in the world. Okay, so I was telling you about Isaiah Jackson and his concert at the Hollywood Bowl with Procol Harum. Now, they're an English rock band formed in 1967, the year I graduated Stewardess College, American Airlines Stewardess College, one of the first black stewardesses. Their best known recording, Procol Harum's best known recording, is the 1967 hit single, A Whiter Shade of Pale. This speaks to my issue. I was too white for some black people, too pale for my mother. My father, Reverend Dr. Wilbur Daniel in the Lion's Den, looked white with red hair, not my mother's. He was not my mother's husband. I was immaculately conceived as my parents' thoughts of desire for each other. Though she was young, she was the female star of the town, Frog. I wrote a song about her, I Loved You, Miss Frog. That was her nickname, obviously. Her name was Corinne Crowder. Corinne Beatrice Crowder. And he was, Reverend Daniel, was the male star who integrated the graduate school of the college, Austin P., where my mother, a valedictorian, with beauty equal to a Miss America, could not attend because of prejudice against people with color by people who lacked color. I wanted a dark-skinned little girl so she could fit in with dark-skinned people, as I never could, though I lived and went to school in the dark-skinned community of a small southern town, Clarksville, Tennessee. A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum was one of the few singles to have sold over 10 million copies. Although noted for their Baroque and classical influence, Procol Harum's music also embraces the blues, R&B, and soul. I want to say that as Beethoven, I was under classical influence, and my son, Sing Birdsong, was Mozart, and his father, Edwin Birdsong, was Bach. Okay, and we were friends with Isaiah Jackson. The genres, Procol Harum, progressive rock, art rock, psychedelic rock, blues rock, hard rock, symphonic rock. In 2018, the band was honored by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when A White Shade of Pale was inducted into the brand new singles category. Okay, so those are the people that Isaiah Jackson did a concert with at the Hollywood Bowl. So this is a concert program. It talks about him. It says Isaiah Jackson, a tall, lanky, my note, light-skinned, black, Clyburn-esque figure who has not yet hit his 30s. This is 1973 program I'm reading from. Has the source of a great deal of excitement whenever he conducts. His appearance tonight with the Los Angeles Philharmonic in concert with Procol Harum is sure to be no exception. Newly appointed associate conductor of the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra, he has appeared as guest conductor of the National Symphony at the Kennedy Center twice with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, with the Dallas Symphony, the New Jersey Symphony, and the Rochester Philharmonic, both in subscription concerts, and in a remarkable special concert inside Attica Prison. Isn't that something? He did a concert inside Attica Prison. Isaiah Jackson, Eve's Beethoven. Isaiah Jackson was Eve's husband in a past life. A1, oldest daughter of Adam and Eve, and the first girl is Eve DeMichelle Bertone and Isaiah Jackson's daughter, immaculately conceived. Isaiah Jackson is Leonard Bernstein's assistant. He was in 1973 when this program was written. The art and artist director at St. Francis of Assisi Residence 3, where Eve, the mother, DeMichelle, is an artist in residence, is Sheila Mantion Ards. And she was Leonard Bernstein. St. Francis of Assisi is Robin Birdsong, DeMichelle Birdsong's daughter, A1's sister, and Robin was Azure, the baby, a child in the garden. Isaiah Jackson is Leonard Bernstein's assistant, also his favorite pupil. My husband, Michael John Speer, of 37 years, Reuben the Flemish painter in a past life, Frank Lloyd Wright, who designed the Guggenheim Museum, and I saw Leonard Bernstein conducting the New York Philharmonic at Avery Fisher Hall, now David Geffen Hall. I saw Isaiah Jackson conduct the Youth Symphony Orchestra in 1971, two songs from my then husband Edwin Birdsong, who was Johann Sebastian Bach, on our debut album, Edwin Birdsong, What It Is, at Carnegie Hall. Did you get that? Isaiah conducted two songs that we wrote on What It Is at Carnegie Hall. He conducted the Youth Symphony Orchestra, playing the songs. Maestro Jackson is a graduate of Stanford, Harvard, and Juilliard, and one of the youngest, but also one of the most promising among the candidates for an international career. Note, they were right about that. The city of Vienna appointed Isaiah Jackson artistic director of the 1973 Youth Music Festival at Leonard Bernstein's suggestion, and in July 1973, year of Sing Birdsong, Mozart's birth, and in 1973, Isaiah Jackson made his European debut conducting the Vienna Symphony and an international orchestra of the festival's top young instrumentalists. Isaiah Jackson was music director of the Youth Symphony of New York, while also assistant conductor of the Baltimore Symphony. Aha, that's during the time we were friends. And our attraction began. That's the attraction between Isaiah and I. And realization that we would be the perfect mate were it not my mission to marry a darker black skin. That was when he was attending Juilliard with my then boyfriend or husband, I can't remember which he was at the time, Edwin Birdsong, born August 22nd. Isaiah was his opposite, born January 22nd. There's no such thing as a coincidence. By the way, when I ended my quest to have a dark-skinned little girl, because I had one, Robin, who had been born by then, I married a white man, Michael John Speer, great master, saw one sing. The restraints against having a light-skinned baby was lifted, and first in line was Isaiah Jackson, the one God, perfect for me, in my mind when I saw him, and I was the girl with whom he wanted to experience intimately, had been established when quote attributed to Carol Buckner and Maya Angelou and others. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how they made you feel. I didn't forget how he made me feel when I married the white guy, Michael, and he didn't forget how I made him feel, because the desire to know me intimately was still there. And that's why, let's see, when we saw each, so that wanted to experience intimately have been established when we saw each other and felt each other's vibes back in the 1970s came up for fruition, and our mindsets about each other created a relationship where a baby Melanie Lynn Speer was conceived. You see, thoughts are things. I'm sure you've heard that. Well, they are. Okay. This light, look at this light, loves him. Okay. Patricia Lynn, my cousin, also looked white. I named Melanie Lynn. And Patricia Lynn, my cousin, was also white. Looked white. Her mother was brown, but she looks just like her mother except for the skin color. Okay. Isaiah Jackson was Leopold Tchaikovsky's assistant with the American Symphony for a season and conducted ballet performances at the 1971 Spoleto Festival. He had been commentator on a radio. Eve had been Tesla, who invented radio. Devoted, although they gave the credit to Marconi, but the Supreme Court, after Tesla died, gave Tesla the patents credit for, because they saw from his patents that he created the radio. But most people don't know that. They still think Marconi did. So Isaiah Jackson had been commentator on a radio devoted to black artists, radio series devoted to black artists and composers. Isaiah Jackson was born in Richmond, Virginia, and educated at Harvard, receiving his PA cum laude in Russian. President Vladimir Prudence St. Ignatius was Eve's son in a past life. At Stanford, receiving his MA in music, Dr. Thomas Sowell, professor at Stanford, author of 25 plus books, including the book Black Rednecks and White Liberals, was Eve's father in a past life. At the Fontainebleau, I worked at the New York office of the Fontainebleau Hotel when I was writing the stories for Edwin Birdsong's album What It Is, having been Shakespeare, Robert Frost, Charles Dickens, Emerson, projected myself as Mark Twain. At Fontainebleau, Aspen, and Tanglewood, and at the Juilliard School where Isaiah founded and conducted the Juilliard String Ensemble, and he recently received his doctorate. Oh, that's all I have. Oh, I made it through. Okay, so there you go. This is a human being. This is a human being. Only 2% of the population is human. And and Will Smith for president is a human being. So these are members of the Holy Royal Family, and I want to acquaint you with them. Okay, so that's all I have to say for now. I thought I was going to have to do a part 3, but I guess not. Okay, so long.